North Kingstown. And earlier this year, I did introduce legislation to move the high school start times to 8:30. House Bill 5888 has gotten a lot of attention. And overall, it's getting a lot of support throughout the state. Many organizations are supporting a later high school start time. As Dr. Caden has outlined, the science is decided. We just need to figure out what we're going to do with it. And it is our job to do something about it. This is a public health issue. I don't believe that the bill as it exists today is going to go through because it's a mandate. It also comes with a hefty price tag that isn't enough to cover the cost for districts to make the change. The bill was heard Thursday night in House Finance, and I was pleasantly surprised to see all of the support that came out. And to be honest, I think there was only a couple of organizations that came out against it, and it was because of the cost involved in adding buses and adding bus drivers. It's since Thursday night, I actually, just while I was in the parking lot today, I got a text message from a friend of mine from high school. She lives in Westchester, New York, and she heard about the bill, and they implemented it 2 years ago, and they're seeing incredible results. While I was in the parking lot, I also got an email from an adolescent and child psychologist from Narragansett who said the bill is brilliant and obvious, and she wants to get involved in getting it passed. Since Thursday night, I've also met with RIDE, and RIDE is very much on board, and they want to be at the table when we figure out what we're going to do with this information. There is a group of supporters right now that have, back to the bill that was mentioned. The bill, like I said, is probably not going to pass as is, but what we might do is turn it into a study commission where we'll take a group of people, all of the stakeholders, bus companies, even the food service providers, and have a study commission that comes together, not to review the research. The science is already there. We don't need any more research. But what we need to do is figure out how we can implement this with the least amount of fiscal impact to every district. Because I know every single school budget is stretched to the max. We're not looking to add more expenses, but we need to figure this out. So we do have a group of people who meet regularly, and they're actually working to continue to expand statewide coalition. If anybody in this room wants to join the discussion, I'll leave some of my business cards at the door. The group includes superintendents, it includes parents, it includes doctors, psychologists. So if you want to be part of the conversation, we welcome it. Early school start times are a national public health issue. It has consequences for everybody. It's impacting children, families, and the community at large. Besides the dangers of walking and driving to school in pre-dawn hours, we're creating a generation deprived of sleep that their growing brains and growing bodies need. I'm going to give you for instance, in addition to the elementary schools in North Kingstown starting too late, the first bus in North Kingstown picks up at 5:55 a.m. Think about that. What time is that high school student getting up to get ready for the bus? And he's not going to bed until midnight. As Dr. Cascaden outlined, this is really compelling evidence. So what are we waiting for? We need to do something about this. Other states and other districts are. Moving to a later high school start time will improve graduation rates. It'll improve test scores. It'll mean fewer visits to the doctors, to the nurses and school psychologists. Oh, by the way, the Rhode Island Nursing Association has provided support for this bill. It'll also improve absenteeism and tardiness. Dr. Cascaden mentioned that the American Academy of Pediatrics supports later high school start times. When haven't we listened to the Academy of Pediatrics? We listen to them with car seats, we listen to them with correct sleeping positions for infants. Why aren't we listening to them on this? The AMA also supports later start times, and so does the CDC. Adolescents who don't get enough sleep are more likely to be overweight. They're not going to get enough physical activity, They're going to suffer from depression, which can lead to suicides, and we know that they have led to suicides. They're going to engage in unhealthy habits like alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. They're going to perform poorly in school, and they're most likely to get a sports injury. So what's next? My intention is to keep this dialogue going, but to get it implemented. And I know that the bill, as it exists, calls for a mandate, and it calls for everything to happen in 2017. And it calls for an 8:30 start time. I'm willing to work with anybody. If we got 8:15 start time or 8:45 start time, I'm happy. And I think the reason it was entered as a mandate is because we all need to do this, not just a couple of districts, because then it will alleviate some of the opposition. Some of the opposition actually told me, well, I'll give you a couple of examples of the opposition to the bill. Sorry, Kate, I'm going to throw Barrington under the bus, but sorry. Barrington really struggled with this, and when this bill came out, I probably got 100 emails from families in Barrington. And one gentleman in particular, this is a funny story, one gentleman in particular told me it was going to be an inconvenience to parents if we changed the high school start time. Does anybody in this room raise your hand if you know a parent who's going to be inconvenienced by better outcomes for their child? This same person, this is the funny part, this same person graduated with me from PC. I've never actually met him. We've been Facebook friends for a couple of years. But about a month ago, he sent me a Facebook message and told me that he hates our governor and I need to run for governor, which is never happening. But he said that I'm doing all the right things and I need to run for governor. As soon as I put this bill in, I was the most inept, inexperienced legislator he ever met. So anyway, some of the opposition has already also told me that this is going to interfere with sports after school. If everybody does it, there's no issue. There's absolutely no issue. Oh, I'm also told that high school kids need to get to their after-school jobs. What's more important, making $10 an hour now or making a decent living later on? Let's add careers in college to the mix. Are we preparing our adolescents properly for college or for careers when we're setting them up for poor outcomes? They have sleep-deprived brains. How can we do that? So we need to do what's right for our kids. It's not going to be the easy thing to do. We know that, but it certainly is the right thing to do. For the record, I have no skin in the game with this. I don't have any kids, so I'm not pushing this on my own agenda. I'm pushing this because it's the right thing to do. So I'm going to just ask you all now to give me your feedback on what you think some of the obstacles are so that we can get these addressed when we have the working groups together and when we have the study commission in place. So anybody want to start?
Move to earlier in the day. The students who definitely need some type of adult supervision are going to be let out, far earlier in the day, which would make it either, challenging for parents to arrange childcare or costly for them to arrange childcare. But under the current system, the older kids get home sooner and so are able to kind of take care of their younger siblings.
All right, so 2 points there. We need to be really creative in our thinking. I mean, really creative and out of the box to make this happen with the least amount of fiscal impact to each district. So you made 2 really good points about the elementary kids. The older kids need to get home and take care of them. Well, do they need to get home and take care of them? Is that really happening, or are they playing sports and getting jobs? And if that's the case, if they really are getting home to take care of them, then why can't they ride a bus together? I'm not saying that that's the answer, but it's like we got to think about this differently.
If not,
that's it.
Thank you, Julie.
Can I just ask for one more thing?
Sure, absolutely.
If your school committee is on board with later start times, I'd ask that you send me a letter of support, because that was one of the things that came up in the House Finance issue, the House Finance Committee. They actually want to know where other school committees stand on this. So if you're in support, please let me know, and please send me a letter of support, and I will leave my business cards at the entrance. Thank you.